Forget what you think you know. Vampires exist.
Hello and welcome to Comic Book Movie Oblivion, the podcast about feature films based on comic books and comic strips that people have stopped talking about. Although this week's not based on any comics. Maybe the first time? Anyway, we're your hosts, Jordan and Kumar, that's me.
And me.
And this week we are talking about Blade 2 from 2002. And as I said, it's not really based on any comics.
Well, what sequels have we done?
The third one is, well, you're right. I mean, but often the sequels would bring in new characters that were in the comics. Like Superman 2 brought in the Phantom Zone villains who were in the comics. Here, everything is a whole cloth. It's a bit like Hellboy 2, which we'll kind of talk about.
It is kind of like
inevitable
Hellboy 2.
to talk about at some stage.
Since they have the same director.
Yeah, same director and almost the same vibes in a lot of ways, but we'll talk about that.
Yes.
Okay, so let's try to recap briefly, because we didn't read any comics this week. Actually, I read the Tomb of Dracula revival.
I also read the Tomb of Dracula revival, which I didn't like.
No, it was not as good as the 70s Tomb of Dracula
It's
series.
not as fun and camp as the 70s one. Instead, it's kind of very 90s, grimy. There's some edgy shit like cults and a lesbian that burns to death, and Dracula talks a lot about people dying from orgasms.
Yes, and
sort of Marv Wolfman kind of lost his touch a bit.
Yeah, and also there's a problem with Al Williamson, who's one of the best artists in the biz, is inking Gene Colan's art. And I don't know, I can't think of a worse pairing between the very loose Gene Colan and the very tight Al Williamson, who didn't seem to understand how to ink his work.
That's exactly what I've written down as well. That's amazing. I never talk about inkers and pencilers.
Yeah.
And I have written down, quote, an impressionistic penciler and a precise inker, not a good combination.
No, it's like he's trying to find the lines in the work and make them make sense, and they're supposed to be really
There's one
loose
where there's a panel of Frank Drake, is it? And Gene Colan hasn't bothered to pencil in where his head ends.
Right.
And so the inker has just filled the panel with his hair colour.
Yeah.
Just weird shit like that going on. I didn't like the art. I didn't like Marv Wolfman's story.
But they were some of the final appearances of Blade before the 90s. By the way, he ends up, at the end of the series, he ends up in a padded cell in his straitjacket, I think.
That's worth mentioning, because here the Blade... It's worth mentioning Blade, actually, as he appears in these comics, because he's a bit of a transitional figure between his original incarnation and the very 90s one that he has in his own series. In this Tomb of Dracula revival, he doesn't have the afro, he has the close cropped hair that we recognise from the movie. He even has greys.
Yeah.
He seems to be transitioning to leather.
Right.
and he's not wearing his... goggles anymore. He seems to be wearing actual sunglasses.
Yes.
On the other hand, he's really rude and unpleasant.
Yes.
And beats people up a lot.
Yes. Even just people like non-vampires.
Yeah.
He's beating up like Frank Drake and stuff. He's more of a Punisher type of character, but against vampires.
So he's on the way to the kind of Wesley Snipes Blade. But then, I mean, Wesley Snipes Blade is his own thing.
Yeah.
That ended up redefining the character.
Yeah.
As we discussed extensively in our Blade episode.
Right. So you can go back and listen to that for all the details about Tomb of Dracula Blade. But basically that version of Blade was supposedly British, but spoke like he was in a blaxploitation movie. Yeah. He played the trumpet in a bar called Boys Club or something. And and he had a girlfriend... that was just a regular. She was always in the series.
And he was not a half vampire, but he was immune to vampirism.
His mother had been bitten by a vampire while he was in the womb, and she died, and that made him immune to vampires, but he hates them, and he really is obsessed with killing vampires, especially in the survival series. I think in the original series too, but
that was all
that's all he thinks about is killing. He loves killing vampires.
He would just play trumpet to earn money to kill vampires, rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
And in this revival series, he doesn't even get any backstory. He just shows up. We're just supposed to know who he is, because these characters are familiar.
That was true in the original Tomb of Dracula as well. He just showed up. as if the other characters are like, oh,
Blade, we don't like you.
Yeah.
You're a loose cannon.
But it was the first time he'd ever appeared.
Yes, that's true, actually. I'd forgotten about that.
Because he's kind of he is a bit like the Punisher. He's just got one thing. You don't need to know much about him, except his jazz playing. He was rescued at some point off the streets by some old guy who taught him about vampire killing and trumpet playing.
Yeah. The Whistler character, essentially.
Yes. Yeah. And I don't think we got... Did we get the backstory in the first movie about how Whistler found him on the streets? Because we actually get a shot in this movie. Oh, okay, we did. Okay.
We do get a shot in this movie, yeah. Yeah, but he was, in Blade 1, he was a street kid, actually drinking blood, like, being indistinguishable from a vampire.
Right.
But somehow Whistler didn't murder him and instead trained him.
Maybe
taught him to control his thirst.
Well, imagine if he caught him drinking blood in the daytime.
That's probably
he would
what
know
happened.
there was something different about it.
That's almost certainly what happened. But it does raise an interesting question about at what point does a vampire become cannon fodder?
Right. That is a good question. We'll probably talk about it in this movie. Was there anything else about Blade? In his gear, he had like wooden knives that he carried around in a bandolier in that original version. That's probably...
He certainly didn't have a sword.
No, that's right.
He had stakes made of... knives. A wooden knife. They're made from teak or mahogany or something.
Yeah, yeah.
And a wooden knife isn't sharp. Why don't you just use a stake?
But that does bring up an interesting thing about vampires being killed with stakes. If I can open a tab on this. In Stoker, the stakes don't kill the vampires. In the end, they kill Dracula with a knife in the heart. The stake is there to pin them down in their coffin so that they don't get up again.
It incapacitates them and then you cut off their head.
Yeah. It doesn't kill them. That's at some point that's been added on. And in this movie, or maybe not in this movie, but okay, we've got human familiars.
It's probably from the films.
Vampires having human familiars, which is a thing that we got all the way to What We Do in the Shadows. Maybe it was started with Vampire the Masquerade, the role-playing game. I'm not sure. I don't think it originated in Blade.
Well, vampires have had... Vampires have had familiars... Isn't, in Bram Stoker's Dracula...
Renfield?
Renfield is like a familiar.
I don't think he's called a familiar.
No, certainly not, no.
I think calling them
it's not
familiars...
Vampire the Masquerade because they're called ghouls in Vampire the Masquerade.
So maybe Blade started it? I don't know. Also, killing vampires with silver weapons, which is a thing that's normally for, familiars are for witches, silver is for werewolves.
Yeah.
Somehow, silver is for vampires. In this and something else I saw recently, I feel like I watched some other vampire thing recently and they didn't like silver. I'm like, wait a second, where did this come from?
Well, every vampire film, but unless it's making a point, it tends to have different...
Of course,
lore on what a vampire is.
But there's certain stuff that has accumulated, like this idea of familiars, which we get in What We Do in the Shadows, and silver, which I'm sure I saw somebody somewhere else affecting vampires recently. I wish I could remember where it was. But anyway, so that's just why I wanted to... I feel like this movie's rolling in a lot of stuff. Like, it's bringing in... I think the familiars were in the first one. I guess the silver was in the first one.
It was.
Too, but... also, this isn't... I don't know if this is really a horror movie. It really played like more of an action movie, except for certain bits.
Well, was the first film a horror movie? It was pretty action-oriented as well.
Yes, but I think this one is even more so.
Certainly it ramps up the action, but it also ramps up, I think, arguably ramps up the horror a bit too with the Reapers.
Yes,
those are very Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah, those are, yes.
I remember being extremely freaked out by them when I saw this.
Yeah, they're a lot like the cockroaches in Mimic, actually. They reminded me of that. There's a lot of Del Toro stuff all over. By the way,
we'll talk about that, yeah.
The reason we're doing Blade 2 is because I got Frankenstein on the brain, because I went to see it a week or two back, and I was like, holy shit, this is a great movie, and I was thinking, we better get around to Blade 2. Okay, let's jump into the film. Let's jump into the movie. Alright, it's all set in Prague.
All filmed in Prague.
Which is cool.
Well, filmed in the Czech Republic.
Yeah.
Mostly in Prague.
Right.
It is cool, actually. Originally it was going to be set in Moscow, but they changed their mind.
Right.
Probably cheaper to film in Prague.
Right. So we go to this blood bank. We open it looks like a subway station. It's a very weird blood bank. And there's this guy they're taking down.
He does not look well. He's coughing.
Yeah. He's got this weird scar, question mark, which like goes straight. It's this line straight down his face.
No, it's only from his.
From his chin.
It's only, only his chin.
Only his chin. But it's weirdly perfect, like a perfect line. And they say they've tested his blood, and it's very weird. And it turns out that the guys working here, the staff, are vampires.
Yeah, it's a vampire blood bank.
It's a vampire blood.
In the first film, the vampires owned everything important. So here in Prague, they own blood banks. It's handy, I suppose.
Yeah.
Maybe
but as they're about to...
It's supposed to be... This seems like a creepy scene. This is actually quite an effective sort of bait and switch.
Yeah.
They secure him to a table.
Yeah. He knows things aren't right.
He's freaking out.
Because it's like, this is not a room where... And these guys are all dressed like Nazis.
Yeah, and it's horrible. It's very Del Toro.
It's very Hellboyish, yeah.
Yeah, very Hellboyish. It's a huge room, and there's just this kind of like dissection table kind of thing.
And he knows this isn't right, yeah.
They bring out this big machine full of bubbling red fluid.
Yeah.
A guy puts on a glove, like a Freddy Krueger glove, but with syringes instead of knives. He's with like tubes coming out of it. He's going to use this to extract this blood. They're grinning at one another, and they reveal their pointed teeth.
Yeah.
And then this guy, the guy that's strapped down, he stops whimpering and starts laughing, and the vampires are a bit perturbed. And then it all goes wrong. He busts out of his restraints and he starts absolutely...
And he's feeding on the vampires.
Fucking up the vampires.
He's like biting into their necks, yeah.
Yeah. We see there's a security camera. He takes out 3 vampires. There's a security camera. He looks straight at it and he says to the camera, "I hate vampires."
Yes.
This is sort of an odd line, as we'll discuss.
Right.
And then something happens. Something happens to his face. It seems we don't see it very well.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
In this granular kind of or grainy video surveillance footage, but something happens. His jaw seems to unhinge, and tentacles come out, and then it cuts.
Yes. Yes. Now we get a bit of opening credits, not full credits, but then we get a recap voiceover from Blade. Tells us all about the first movie.
Yeah.
He talks about Whistler, the Kris Kristofferson character, who was his mentor, and how he was supposed to kill himself when he was bitten. In the last movie, he was attacked by vampires, and Blade gave him a gun, and we hear the gunshot as Blade walks away from the scene, and he's presumed dead. But here, we learn that actually he was taken away somehow.
He did, yeah.
The vampires took his body.
This is awful.
Yeah.
So we literally kind of like saw him kill himself, more or less. But I guess he missed.
Or I think he shot himself and he survived it because he was turned already.
Right.
I think that's what
it's what's implied.
Said or implied.
Get ridiculous.
I do remember.
And then they show up at his secret lair and abduct him.
Yeah, or pull him out of his grave, or I don't.
I'm pretty sure they pretty much find him in.
Right.
It must find him in. So Blade must have gone back after the big fight with Deacon Frost.
Yeah.
To deal with Whistler's body.
Yeah, and it wasn't.
Which he left on, and it wasn't there.
Right.
Oh damn! Where's his body?
I saw this movie. I can't remember if I saw it in the cinema. I would have been in Japan at the time. I probably saw it at the cinema. I don't think I waited for it to come out on video. I can't remember. But anyway, I do remember being really unhappy about this. Because it reminded me of Sean Connery showing up in Highlander 2.
Yeah.
I mean, all of Highlander 2 is a fucked up mess. But Sean Connery being in it when he was beheaded in the first one with no explanation is like, we're just doing this? And I felt like this was a little bit... But, I mean, they devote a lot of this movie to this recovery. They just don't devote a lot of time to explaining how he could have survived the gunshot or how the body was taken.
It's an absolute hand wave. And also, what happens next is weird too, which goes into the kind of like dubious status of what a vampire is, and how responsible they are for their actions, and we'll talk about that. But I read, once again, Cinefantastic to the rescue. I read an article by a guy called Edward Gross, which is an apt name,
Okay.
called Blade 2, The Vampire Hunter Who Initiated Marvel's Cinematic Recovery Returns, published in April 2002. He spoke to Kris Kristofferson,
Okay.
presumably on the set, asking him, how are you back if you're dead? Mm-hmm. To which Kris Kristofferson apparently replied, that's what I said.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But then went on to say, I was pleased they wanted to bring me back to life. You've got to take a big leap of faith when you're making a movie about vampires. Mm. It was as plausible as anything in the first one.
Okay.
Fine. Whatever. I hate that kind of thing. It's like, whoa, what? You believe in this movie about dragons? You're going to disbelieve in one more thing? It is not a good...
No, I agree.
You can't just say that, Kris Kristofferson, but whatever.
Do you remember those prophecy movies from the 90s with Christopher Walken about angels versus devils?
No.
In that one, I think he died in the first one and was back in the second with no explanation. I think that's what happened.
Very unhappy with... So, Blade has been looking for Whistler for years.
Yeah, 4 years, because it's been 4 years since the last movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. He knows that somehow that Whistler's still alive. And he's tracking him... that he's a vampire now.
Yeah.
He knows he's a vampire now.
Yeah.
And he's tracking him from place to place. He tracked him into Moscow, which is what he was doing in Moscow at the end of Blade 1, I guess, looking for Whistler. And now he's tracked him to Prague.
Right. So, we get a big martial arts sequence here where he's fighting these guys, these vampires, trying to track down where Whistler is. I don't know why specifically after Whistler...
Well, Whistler...
versus all the other vampires that he's killing all the time.
He just likes to kill vampires, and he can kill vampires and look for Whistler at the same time.
Right, but why does he want to find Whistler in the first place at all?
I guess because Whistler was important to him. Kind of like a friend mentor or father figure. So, I mean, we actually get a line later in the film where Norman Reedus' character actually says, you're like a father figure to him.
Right.
To Whistler.
Yeah.
So Blade just goes to a typical vampire hangout, like ugly industrial location. That's the only place they seem to hang out. They're doing red cocaine.
Yes. Yes, blood cocaine. That was so funny. Yeah.
And he beats the tar out of them until there's only one left, a guy called Rush. Played by a Spanish comic actor, comedian, I think, called Santiago Segura. He is a comic book movie Oblivion All-Star.
You mean as of this episode?
As of this episode.
Okay. Give me details.
So he plays the vampire Rush in this movie.
Yep.
In Hellboy 1, he's the driver of the train.
Okay.
That runs over Hellboy. And in Hellboy 2, he plays Distinguished Buyer.
Holy shit. Well, there's another All-Star this week.
There is.
At least one more. Okay. We'll get to that.
Well, there isn't... I don't think... There's another... There are so many people that have appeared in other movies, and I'm very excited to go through them all.
Yeah.
But he's the only one that makes the jump to All-Star this week.
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay.
So this guy, Rush, he tortures him.
Yeah, Blade tortures him, yeah.
Blade tortures him and gets the location of Whistler out of him.
Right. Now, I just want to talk about the martial arts sequence. This first one is really great. It was one of the things I loved about that first movie is how much martial arts was in it. And the fight choreography is great in this again.
It's great.
They've changed up I think they've changed the effects for the vampire explosions.
Yeah.
They're kind of like they shoot sparks this time around.
Well, it's a...
if it's
yes.
silver, maybe, or...
Well, they were dusted in the first film, weren't they? Well, the difference
they
is...
turned it kind of a black ash, and black and grey ash.
The difference is that 4 years worth of improvement in CG.
Yes.
And also, they've... when they made this film, they used 5 different effects studios.
Okay.
And basically subcontracted out a specific visual effect to each of these studios. So one studio did prosthetics and makeup. Another one did this thing, which is called they called ash carbons.
Okay.
I don't know why they called it that. Or disintegrations. Another one did the different disintegrations that occur when the vampires are exposed to UV.
Okay.
And so on.
Okay. Well, okay, that was fine, but something started to bother me immediately. the bullet time. The bullet time in the first movie was shocking when we watched it because it was a year before The Matrix.
Yep.
This time watching it, it was after The Matrix, and it felt, everything about this felt Matrix-y. The way they've changed the color scheme, Del Toro's done everything in like, it's like all, you know, all green or all blue, like, you know, even people's skin, it's lit in this weird way. It all looks very Matrix-y. Somehow the leather, which predated The Matrix, now feels post-Matrix. The bullet time and CGI effects were pre-Matrix, now feel post-Matrix.
It's funny because I really laboured the point that I considered Blade to be the precursor to The Matrix and the progenitor of that style of film.
That whole genre, yeah.
I went on and on about
movies,
it in the episode.
Yeah.
And it's funny that by the time this comes around, The Matrix's cultural footprint is so much larger than Blade's that the filmmakers were deliberately trying to avoid Matrix-esque material and comparisons seemingly fruitlessly, since you've pointed them out. I've got an interview with Goyer.
Okay. This was written by Goyer as well, we should mention.
Yes. So in the year 2000, appeared in Revolution SF. You've said, the interviewer asked him, that there won't be any Matrix-esque stuff in Blade 2. Will this require a change from the look and feel of the original movie? I mean, with the creaking black leather, badass hardware, acrobatics, breakneck fight scenes, and techno-electronica soundtrack, Blade was pretty much Matrix-esque before Matrix-esque became an adjective. I don't think Matrix-esque is an adjective, it's really hard to say. To which he replied, good question. The trick will be to retain the feel of the first film, but to design action sequences that are not self-consciously aping the Matrix. I think we'll be staying away from slow motion. And they mostly do.
Yes.
Also, the stunt coordinator as well, who was called Jeff Ward, he was also Wesley Snipes' stunt double a lot of the time, when Wesley Snipes wasn't doing his own stunts, which he mostly does. He said that he was, quote-unquote, desperate to avoid what he called bullet time syndrome.
Okay, well, I gotta address two things. There's a fight later on, which I was really enjoying. The Blade's home base is invaded by these two ninja-type vampires.
Oh, yeah.
They look very much like that Colonel character from Hellboy. With Cronin. Anyway, he's fighting them.
Ninja, yeah.
I'm really enjoying it. I'm enjoying all of his moves. Suddenly, Blade starts spinning through the air in impossible ways, and then suddenly, I'm looking at my big screen TV and seeing a very obvious CG Wesley Snipes. It's not him. It doesn't even look like him. It's like almost having a stunt double, but it's just this cartoon that's flipping around in impossible ways. It reminded me of... Steven Soderbergh, he never has nudity in his movies because he said, as soon as an actor takes their clothes off, it becomes a documentary. And I feel like as soon as an actor does a triple flip in midair, you've taken me out of it. Now I know it's CG. Now I'm thinking about all the choices that went into it.
I don't believe in what I'm seeing anymore.
Yeah.
You've lost me. Yeah, that, it doesn't look good.
And that made me, I don't know if they're trying to be, that's leaning into the Matrix. If you're going to do superhuman stuff because you have control over reality, Blade, why is Blade able to do this stuff that he wasn't able to do in the first movie?
Yeah, he didn't do those things. I agree.
And it looks bad.
I didn't like it. It does look bad. Del Toro himself doesn't like it. On the DVD commentary, I didn't listen to it, but I listened to people who did listen to it talk about listening to it. Said that he's like complaining about this shot. Like he's like, this looks terrible.
Yeah.
Why is this in the film?
But he farmed it out. He's like, we have the technology to do this. They hired somebody to do it, and this is the job they brought back, and they have no choice but to put it in the movie. Or I think they could have cut some of these bits out or something, but...
Yeah, it was a shame that they started doing stuff like in Dragon from Russia. The wire stuff. I don't want my wire stuff.
Well, wire's okay. Bad CG is bad. I mean, I could accept the wire work a little bit. Some of the wire was fine.
When they're yanking, they're obviously using wires to yank Wesley Snipes across the room when he gets punched by the antagonist, which that's fine.
Yes, exactly.
But when he's doing cartoon backflips, looking like Ben Affleck Spider-Manning around New York, that's when that has not stood the test of time. I completely agree.
No. Okay, the other thing is I wanted to mention that the music is not techno in this one. This is maybe they're trying to get it's more hip hop. That maybe that's some way they're trying to distance themselves from the Matrix.
They definitely did. It's so funny.
And by the way, I liked it less. That aspect of it less. I like.
They should have leaned into it.
I like the club techno stuff in the first one.
Yeah, well, they even have a bloody techno club.
Yes,
as we'll get
100%, to. Yeah.
Yeah, I wish they'd leaned into it, but it's interesting that the Matrix had occluded Blade as the trendsetter, as the genre-defining film in this style of movie, when actually it was Blade that blazed that trail.
Yeah. Okay, okay, so he finds Whistler in a tank.
In a big tank of blood.
Yeah.
Apparently they've been torturing him to the point of death, and then putting him back in a tank of blood to rehabilitate, to regenerate, and then doing it again for 4 years.
Yeah.
How is Whistler not insane? His brain would be mush.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. Maybe this recovery takes 3 years. Maybe they've only done it once. Maybe they only tortured him twice.
Let's go with that. Vampires don't need oxygen, I think, because Whistler doesn't need to breathe in this tank.
No.
So that's another thing about the vampires.
Blade is supposed to kill... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Incidentally, Kris Kristofferson was very cold.
Okay.
He said it was snowing that day, or when they were doing those shoots, and whenever he got out of that blood tank, he was absolutely freezing.
Right. All right. So he spent 15 minutes of the movie, except for the opening, so 10 minutes... trying to find an excuse to bring Kris Kristofferson back into the movie.
Yep.
Blade brings him back to his base. Now he's got a new guy building his gear, Norman Reedus. Scud, who's, I guess, been working for him for a few years. We get his backstory later on. Big spoiler, but basically he was camping and he took these two girls into his tent that he met, and they turned out to be vampires, and Blade rescued him.
Yeah. And then they started working together. And then at some point, either from the start or at some point after that, he became a familiar to the leader of the vampires.
I think he's playing the long game. I think the girls were a setup. I think the whole thing was just... They were like, Blade's going to be on that mountain. You go up there, pretend to be a camper, and these girls are going to pretend to attack you, and he'll rescue you. That's the only way I could
I wish they'd said that.
Yeah.
Because it is the most nonsensical reveal.
Yeah.
Which we'll get to it.
Yeah.
But I remember that just driving me mad, even more than Whistler coming back from the dead when I saw this film. When it came, I didn't see it in the pictures either. I saw it on DVD. But the sudden reveal that Norman Reedus had been a traitor all along.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know what's crazy about it is that he's a familiar who has been helping Blade for 2, 3, 4 years.
Yep.
Build gear.
Yep.
To murder the people that he's into.
Yes, that's right.
He's like, vampires are awesome. I'm a familiar. I love vampires.
Yeah, so what is a familiar?
All this gear to murder them.
Is it someone who's hoping to be turned into a vampire at some point? Or is it just somebody who does what vampires say and are protected from being killed? We never find out.
No.
Unfortunately, this is... We're going to talk more and more about this as the film goes on, but I think, unfortunately, the more we learn about vampire society, the less sense it makes.
Right, okay. Okay.
Which I guess is a problem, which is why I think less is more. I laboured this point endlessly in our last episode, that I think less is more when it comes to talking about supernatural creatures often.
Yeah.
Because the more you reveal, the more questions you start to ask.
Yes.
What does Scud get out of this relationship with the prince of the vampires?
Yeah. Yeah, and also, I mean, I don't like, in general, I'm sure I must have mentioned it previously, I don't like when they come with scientific explanations.
You did say that. You made that quite clear.
For supernatural stuff. Like, I don't like like when UV light is a substitute for sunlight, as if the problem is sunlight. I like the idea that it's something magical about daytime.
I think, as I said, you said these very words.
Okay.
I went back and listened to the episode.
Okay.
And I replied that I am okay with it as long as there's still some magic.
Yes. Okay.
I think you can bring in I think on TV Tropes it's called Maybe Magic, Maybe Mundane.
Okay, got it.
And it means you can bring in some sciencey stuff and play with them and have fun with them.
Yeah.
But you still have magic so you can leave things mysterious.
Okay.
Magic is doing the heavy lifting.
Okay.
And science is just fun little details.
Okay.
But ultimately, you need the magic there in order for it to make sense. This film abandons magic completely. There are no magical elements in this movie.
In fact,
at any point.
there was a thing that I really wanted to be magic. Well, we'll get to it because it's very confusing. It gets flopped as well. Anyway, he's supposed to kill Whistler. This was why he found him. Norman Reedus was like, "Why haven't you killed him?" He puts him into a room and injects him.
He has a cure for vampirism.
Right.
The cure that Curran, the hematologist, developed in the last movie. Incidentally, she's vanished. He has a cure. So Whistler, he's rescued. So Whistler has been a vampire for 2 years. Is Whistler evil now?
Okay, the theology of evil, or whatever we want to call it, is a big question. Are vampires... If everything was magic, you can say when you get turned into a vampire, you are now an evil creature.
Yes, you can. In Buffy,
you thirst for blood and you kill them.
In Buffy, for example, you literally die, and your soul is replaced by a demon.
Yeah.
So you're evil now.
Yes.
I think it has your memories or something, but you're evil now because you have a demon's soul.
Right. Okay. Then that's fine. But if you start saying that they have different emotions and they can choose to, oh, I'm not going to kill people, I'm just going to eat rats or something, then you just can't go around slashing them.
No, you can't. And we never explore that. Like, Blade never asks himself these questions.
No.
In the first film, it's fine. Because we have the magical...
Yes.
Because there's some obscurity around magic. And also because...
And all the vampires are evil in that one.
Exactly. We never learn too much about the vampires.
Right.
And there are actually very few named vampire characters.
Yeah.
Here we have lots of named vampire characters.
Yeah.
With different personalities.
Yeah.
And you have to start asking the question. And also, we get a mundane explanation for vampirism. In a coming scene, the king of the vampires, or the prince of the vampires, Eli, Greek name...
hang on, I'll try to... Damaskinos,
literally says, vampirism is a virus.
Yeah.
You are infected, and then within several hours, it spreads through your body, and you develop new organs, and then you're a vampire.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's just Whistler with a few newer organs.
Yes. Well, it hasn't changed his morality
to subsist on blood.
At all.
That means Blade himself has this condition then.
Yeah.
He needs to subsist on blood. Why can't Whistler just take the serum and be a badass vampire hunter?
Yeah.
Problem.
So anyway, he gives Whistler the serum, and he says if it works in the morning when the blinds open, like if it works you'll be fine. If you're still a vampire you'll be dead. And he comes in the next morning, and he's alive.
Maybe Whistler doesn't want to be dead. He seems catatonic, actually. He's not responding.
Yeah.
So vampirism is being equated to living death here. But it doesn't line up with what we learn later, because we have sympathetic vampire characters.
Yeah.
At least 2, maybe 3.
Yep. Okay, so now Blade's base is attacked. He has these floodlights, which are cool.
Yeah. They don't do anything, but they do look cool.
Everything.
They're called
actually,
the God
this movie
lights.
is cool.
Yeah.
It is still a cool movie.
Some people are infiltrating Norman Reedus' security system.
Yeah.
There's a cool bit where human or vampire, I think Blade asks him, and he gets a temperature reading off them, and he says 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Definitely suckheads. Yeah. Or I'm guessing suckheads.
Yeah.
They come in, and as you said, they look like the Clockwork Ninjas, that enemy from Hellboy 1. It's a very Del Toro kind of aesthetic.
But this is pre-Hellboy, which is another interesting thing.
But this is just what he loves. Like, Kronos is like this, Del Toro likes Baroque clockwork kind of like machinery
100%.
And aesthetic.
So this is his fourth feature.
They've got, right, because he'd done Kronos Mimic, The Devil's Backbone, and then
Blade 2. And then Hellboy, Pan's Labyrinth, Hellboy 2, Pacific Rim, Crimson Peak, Shape of Water, Nightmare Alley, Pinocchio, Frankenstein.
Very impressive, Kumar, if you weren't reading it off
I was reading it off screen. 100% I was reading off screen. Those are all... I mean, these are... Even the weaker ones are amazing.
I haven't seen Mimic. That's usually considered one of the worst ones.
It's creepy. I think it's a good feature.
I haven't seen it, though.
All right.
Norman Reedus is in it.
Oh, right. Interesting.
So they have great goggles that iris open and shut depending on how much light is going into them, which is really neat.
Yeah.
They fight Blade to a standstill, essentially, or he fights them to a standstill. Then they announce they've come in peace, even though the vampire hunters attacked first. One of them, the male one, gets down on his knees and presents Blade with a peace offering. It's some kind of canister.
Yeah, very Hellboy canister that he has.
Another heavy-looking kind of like,
Yeah.
chunky thing covered in glyphs.
Yeah.
He tells them to take off their masks. They take off their masks. It's John-Jules who plays the cat in Red Dwarf.
All right.
Which is so weird. I don't think I've ever seen him in anything else.
Right.
I really like Red Dwarf.
Yeah.
To see him... I mean, he has pointed teeth in Red Dwarf as well. He probably didn't even have to get new prosthetics. But it's very funny to see him playing a serious role.
Yeah, he's a cool dude in this, though.
Very cool. He's
a good kind of counterpoint to Blade, I think.
Very definitely sympathetic. He is a good vampire. Yeah. Vampires can be good.
Yes.
Whoops, we're learning this.
Yeah.
So what does that mean when Blade ruthlessly murders them constantly?
Yeah. And then the other one is this girl, Nyssa, who, over the course of the movie, I mean, Whistler suspects that Blade is having romantic feelings for her.
Yep. And they don't have much chemistry, the actors, but we're meant to... Like, Blade saves her at one point by giving her his blood.
Yeah.
So that she doesn't die.
Yeah.
And they have some conversations about the nature of vampirism.
Yeah.
And she's a pureblood, so she was born a vampire.
Yeah.
That's all she's ever been. So she doesn't want a cure. Oh, incidentally, Blade never offers the cure to anybody.
That's right. Yeah.
Why would he? Vampires are evil, or are they?
Yeah.
They're evil except when they're not.
Yeah. So, well, I think as far as the movie's concerned, he thinks they're evil. Even if we as the audience have figured out that they're not. Blade doesn't care, which is clear in this scene because they've come to offer a truce because there's something worse than them out there, something which is feeding on them, which is that guy we met in the first scene.
That's true.
And he's like, I don't want to truce with you. You guys are evil bastards.
Yeah. Parasites.
Yeah.
But you're right. I just feel like the film never really explores it.
Of course. No, it doesn't.
Blade's character doesn't change.
No.
He never does any soul
searching. In fact, characters comment on that. Whistler and Reedus are talking about how he doesn't say anything.
Yeah.
So they go to the headquarters of the vampires. What was it called? Like the vampire...
It's called Caliban.
Vampire Nation.
Yeah. And the building's called Caliban Industries.
Right.
It's cool.
Right. They go in there, they meet this guy who's the...
Eli Damascinos. He's a Nosferatu character.
Yes, he's very creepy Del Toro kind of character.
Which is cool. Again, we're not explained why he looks like this, or why his blood is blue, or why he turns to stone instead of disintegrating when he dies. Yeah. I guess it's just because he's a really old vampire. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with some questions not being answered.
Yeah.
However, he does answer some questions I wish he hadn't, because this is the point when he explains what vampirism is.
First you got to talk about his lawyer.
Oh, yeah, we do.
Because this guy...
You're right. He is the second All-Star.
Is he All-Star status this week officially?
Yes. This is Karel Roden, the actor, playing a character called Karel Curran.
Yep.
He was in Hellboy.
Yep.
As Rasputin. And he was in Bulletproof Monk.
Yes. That's right.
And this is his third appearance, so sound the trumpets.
Yep. Okay.
You're right. I forgot.
Yes. I forgot about Bulletproof Monk there for a minute.
Monk!
Oh, by the way, we did the guy in the first scene, that the one who ate the vampires.
Yes.
Was played by Luke Goss.
Yes. He was Prince Nuada in Hellboy 2.
In Hellboy 2. Now, the interesting thing about that was, we were watching Hellboy 2, you must have mentioned at the time that he was in this. Because I had forgotten about him.
Sometimes I do and sometimes I don't.
But, it's interesting to me because he, to me, was a... I mean, he was in that band, right? He was in the Twins band.
I don't know.
Bros.
I lost interest in him when I saw that this is his last comic book movie appearance. He won't be back.
I'm sure. I'm sure this is him. Let me just quickly check.
Sure.
But it just, to me, he was like a heart. Yeah, he was the drummer in Bros. right? The twins, remember those guys?
Oh, no.
You don't remember? Anyway, he was kind of a heartthrob in the 90s, and he tried to have an acting career, and it's interesting to me how willing he was to get under a ton of makeup in both of these movies.
Well, he's done creature. This is creature acting, right?
Yeah.
Apparently he got into pretty good shape for this role.
Right.
Too. So he's doing quite a bit of his own stuff.
Yeah.
He took like 10 weeks of kickboxing or what have you.
Right. Okay, so now we get the explanation about how it's a virus.
I really wish
and
we
the
hadn't
virus
got that.
has evolved, and they've created this new creature called the Reapers, which also feed on vampires.
They're implying it's a natural process that the virus has evolved.
Yeah. It's revealed later, at the end of the movie, there's a reveal that this is bioengineered. Mm-hmm. At this moment, I wanted it to be magic, and also, well, I suppose it doesn't matter if it's bioengineered, but I was like, wait a second. You can't. So one of the evolutions is like they have like bone over their hearts to protect their hearts, so you can't stab them in the chest.
Yeah.
They've got these jaws that unhinge and these tentacles come out.
Yeah.
It's really wild looking, but like that's not how evolution works.
No,
like,
it's not.
For human evolution to go through that, to develop even one of those things, would take millions and millions of years.
Of course.
So I wanted this to be magic. I didn't like the fact that they used the word evolve.
Yeah, of course.
As if it
well,
was
evolve is
scientific.
just a synonym for improved.
Of course.
Isn't it? In a lot of...
But it was just like, at the back of my mind, and then I was like, well, it's okay, I guess, because it's magic that it could evolve all this stuff in one step.
I suppose we should give it a pass since it was an engineered virus.
Exactly. Now, we have to give it a pass for two reasons. One is that it might... is it magic, or is it... What was it?
Maybe magic, maybe mundane.
Maybe magic, maybe mundane, right.
Instantly, I hated this explanation because, as you pointed out, it raises more questions than it answers. If vampirism is just a virus, why do vampires explode when they die? Why would the virus do that?
Well,
why does
the virus do anything?
Where does the energy come from?
Why do they have to drink blood?
Yeah, exactly.
Why anything?
That's a good question. Because blood is really low in calories.
But it's like, well, what about zombie viruses? It's the same. It's a virus.
Zombie virus is okay.
A virus just assigns a bunch of traits to a fictional virus just assigns a bunch of traits to your character.
You can't look at the explosions when they die and think anything except magic.
Yes, but why even do they explode when they die? That was a Buffy the Vampire Slayer thing to not have to deal with corpses.
Yeah.
Just turn them to ash. I'm trying to think of which version. So Nosferatu was the first time where sunlight killed a vampire. And don't
they fade it? They vanish. Didn't he? Nosferatu vanished.
Nosferatu just vanishes.
Yeah.
The first time one burns up in the sun is... I feel like it might have been the Louis Jourdan BBC version, maybe?
I have no idea. But, I mean, if it's a virus... this is the question that I mean, as you said, there's many questions. How do they subsist on such a low-calorie food as blood? How... and have so much more energy than a human being? Why would UV kill them during the day but not at night when it's reflected off the moon?
You're right. Actually, it's better if it's magic.
But it feels like it's a big step to have them explode like that because it's right in our face. We're watching them explode constantly, and if you've just told us it's a virus, I'm asking, why is this the spontaneous combustion virus? It bugs me.
Right, something like the wood of the stake touches the virus, and that causes a chain reaction. So the virus has some chain reaction when it is in contact with wood that cascades through the whole system and blows the person up.
Yeah, that needs to be a magical explanation, I feel. So I agreed with you. I found myself agreeing with you, as you were in episode 48 or whatever it was, that I don't like this scientific explanation. Yeah. I need a little bit of mystery.
Right.
Someone, I think Assad, that's Danny John-Jules' character, explains that they need to stop the Reapers. They need to stop Patient Zero. Because he is feeding constantly.
Yeah.
He's creating new Reapers all the time. He says that he's created a new Reaper. He's created 12 new Reapers in 72 hours. Danny John-Jules then says, in days there could be hundreds. At the end of the month, there could be thousands. That's not good maths. There would be more like, at the end of the month, there would be more like 138 billion.
Because
it's 13 to the power of 10.
Okay.
Because if it's every 3 days, you get 12 Reapers plus the original one. That means it's 13 times as many Reapers after every 3 days. There are 10 periods of 3 days in a month. So 13 to the power of 10. 13 to the power of 10 is 138 billion.
Okay. So here's my question. Does that mean the entire population of the Earth is going to be... Well, it could take over the whole Earth.
Yep.
It could hit the limit of 7 billion. You're right, it's not thousands, it's billions.
I guess they just
But
thought it
here's
was
my
unbelievable for him to say there would be billions of them in a
Are
month.
the Reapers all going to be bald males that wear the same clothes?
What Del Toro is doing, it's funny in a film that humanizes vampires so much, Del Toro gives us vampires that are unambiguously evil. Always chaotic evil. And also all look the same. They all look like Orlok.
Yep.
They all wear, as you pointed out, the same clothes. Maybe when you get bitten, you just lose all your secondary sexual characteristics and become...
Yeah, maybe so.
But I don't know why your clothes would look the same.
Yep.
Incidentally, why do your clothes burn up when you burn up as well when you're a vampire?
Oh, well, the virus has suffused your clothing. It's an aura around you.
I've got a quote from Del Toro on about the Reapers. He says, "I was fed up with vampires being tortured Victorian heroes." Imagine it in Del Toro's Spanish accent. "I just don't like the whole concept. I think vampires is essentially sucking someone else's blood, which can be dealt with as an addiction or in so many other ways which are interesting. I just want vampires to be scary again, as opposed to a romantic interlude. Nobody is going to fantasize about being drained by these creatures." I just wanted to get away from the discrete, like the puncture marks, the hammer fill, like the two bite marks of legend. Getting away from the bite. On the other hand, he says, these guys are not messy. They're very efficient, the Reapers. They're as efficient as a leech. And indeed, there is this leech-like kind of physiology going on because their jaws unhinge and then this horrible sucker comes out.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
Yeah.
And in a later film, when one of them is feeding on a big dude, a guy called Lighthammer, they starts feeding and then its back opens up and it looks like reservoirs are filling with blood.
Yeah.
And also there are like exhaust holes that are leaking like lymph.
Yeah.
It's so vile
really
and
great.
so great.
Yeah.
These guys need to die.
Yeah.
So it's so funny that we've got our chaotic evil vampires, but at the same time, we're getting humanized.
Yeah, I think it's... wait a second, is it on purpose or is it inevitable that the regular vampires become sympathetic?
They're gonna look sympathetic compared to these horrible monsters.
Yeah.
Because all of these, I think all of these Reapers are actually turned vampires because... Damaskinos, or whatever his name, says that they're going for vampires first.
Oh, okay,
and Blade says, I don't see why this is my problem.
Yeah,
I freaking hate vampires.
Got it.
And Damaskinos says, well, after that they're going to go for your precious humans. To which I thought, hang on, aren't they your precious humans too because you need them to subsist on?
Well, they'll be dead, though.
Well, here we already did. Yeah, that's true.
So... Damaskinos wants Blade to team up with a bunch of his vampires for this mission to track down the main Reaper, Nomak.
Yeah.
Our Luke Goss character. So we get this hilarious, huge team called the Blood Pack.
Yep.
There's like 10 of them, or 8 or something. Probably could have cut it down to 4. Or...
It's about 8. Most of them don't really have anything important going on. We've got Ron Perlman.
Yes! I'd forgotten he was in this.
I had not. This is his 4th appearance.
Yeah.
He is now tied in the lead
with
Luke
Evans?
Chris Evans. Chris
Evans
is still only on 3.
Chris Evans on 3. Okay.
No, our 4 are Doug Jones.
Okay.
Nicolas Cage.
Okay.
A creature actor called Brian Steele.
Okay.
Who was in the 2 Hellboy movies. And an actress called Stacey Travis. Who is just a kind of like bit actor who coincidentally I think has been in 4 movies in bit roles.
Right. Okay.
But Tracy, Stacey Travis, if you're listening, we'd love to have you on the show.
Yeah, interesting.
But Ron Perlman, here he is.
Yeah.
He's playing a character called Reinhardt, who is racist.
Yes.
But not a vampire racist. He's a white supremacist vampire.
Yes.
In the original script, he was going to be a Nazi. Because Del Toro and Nazis. But at some point they realized that would be a bad idea, probably because Ron Perlman is Jewish.
Right.
But anyway, he says some racist stuff.
Yeah.
The first thing he says to Blade is, "Do you blush, boy?" He doesn't say boy, but he may as well. I couldn't find a definite source for this, but apparently that's something that someone actually said to Wesley Snipes.
Whoa. Okay. Well, you did say last time that he was writing his own dialogue.
Yeah,
So.
he still has that sort of input in the film. He's one of the producers.
One of these guys is Donnie Yen.
Yeah.
That was a surprise too. I'd forgotten that he was in this.
No dialogue.
No, that's right.
He's a ninja.
Yes.
I think he's maybe Japanese coded, even though
he's called Snowman, and he does have the kanji for snow.
Yeah.
On one of his.
Well, it's the same word in Chinese.
Yeah.
But he's got a katana, and he's got a sort of ninja vibe.
Right. Okay. Underused for sure.
100%.
Even without as he was in Rogue One.
I think he also contributed to the choreography.
Okay, that makes sense. He's in incredible shape in this, and Del Toro knows it because he makes sure there's certain shots where he's like, "Let me see that tricep," and he just flexes in this way that it just looks incredible.
We've got a big guy called Lighthammer. Mm-hmm. He's the one that gets snacked on by a Reaper later. We've got a small woman who kind of trying to perch on Lighthammer's shoulder.
They seem to be a couple.
I think she's called Valerie.
Okay.
Yeah, they're a couple. They're very definitely a couple.
Yep.
So now vampires love one another.
Yeah.
They experience love.
Yeah. Verlaine. Verlaine is her name.
Right.
Okay.
Incidentally, Verlaine was supposed to be the twin sister of the first female vampire in the first Blade film.
Okay.
The one played by Tracy Lords.
Okay, right.
So Tracy Lords was going to come back for this movie.
Okay.
And play her twin sister.
Okay.
And that was going to add another dimension to the tension that already exists with Blade. Because we didn't mention, but the Blood Pack has been training to kill Blade.
Yes, that's right. That's their whole purpose. They are a pre-existing team that exists to kill Blade.
They've been training for
and now they're being repurposed to take out this Reaper.
And now Blade's going to lead them.
Yeah. Which is another reason, especially that Ron Perlman's very unhappy about it.
Oh yeah, he's super unhappy. Blade sticks a bomb in the back of his head to control him.
Yes.
Is there anyone else?
Yes, I want to mention Chupa.
Yeah.
Because he's played by the guy that was Vince in Fast and Furious 1 and 5.
We love a Fast and Furious connection.
Yep.
We're going to need a sound effect for it. We're gonna be like, vroom. I refuse to ring the bell for Fast and Furious.
Okay.
Matt Schulze, this is actually his second appearance on the podcast. And
Wait, who is he? Oh,
and
Vince.
And wait, no.
Chupa?
And his Chupa. And his second appearance in a Blade movie. He was in Blade 1.
Huh.
He played a character called Kreese, a vampire henchman, and he's back in this one as a character.
And he's not the twin brother of Chris.
No, he's not. Why didn't they do that?
Weird. I guess Del Toro just liked him. So what was his other comic? Oh no, it was Blade.
Blade.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So they're like, okay, well... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Before we move on, while we're on the topic of people that have been in things, there's one more actor that's been in another movie from the podcast. It's Damaskinos himself, played by Thomas Kretschmann.
Yes.
He was Thagnar, the main antagonist in Prince Valiant, which also had Ron Perlman in it.
What? That is wild.
So Ron Perlman, can you remember Ron Perlman's four credits?
Yeah, okay, so Prince Valiant, Hellboy, Crying Freeman.
Yes, and this one, well done.
Yeah. I feel like I looked up Kretschmann and there was... Somehow I didn't notice the Prince Valiant there.
I think it's one of his credits mentioned in his Wikipedia synopsis at the start, I'm pretty sure, because I think it's one of his few headlining roles.
You know what? He's gonna hit 3. He's gonna hit 3 at least.
I've got him down as being Baron Strucker in the MCU.
Yes, that is. I noticed that.
But there's a third?
He's in Wanted. I'm just looking at his...
Oh, he's in Wanted!
Yeah.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
Allow me to make a note of that.
So he'll get his ring. He's also plays Van Helsing in a 2013 Dracula.
I did see that, actually. We're doing real-time research on the podcast for future podcast episodes.
Yeah.
Man, this is some quality entertainment.
Okay, so we've got this team.
They're great. I love this. I love a quirky mini-boss squad.
Yes, but this squad is too big. I felt like... Okay, there's
another guy called Priest.
Yes, there's a guy called Priest. Yeah.
Who's played by Tony Curran, Tony Curran. He's either an Irish actor playing a Scotsman or a Scottish actor playing an Irishman.
Okay.
He's gonna be back.
Huh. Okay.
He's gonna be back twice. He will eventually get to All-Star status.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, the thing I want to say about this team being too big, and this is jumping way ahead, is this movie's 2 hours.
Right.
And I think you could have cut half an hour of the action scenes, which I liked, but they're like, this movie's almost all action scenes.
Yeah.
Like, it's like one 20-minute action scene to the next one. They just find an excuse to get to the next big fight, and they're very long. And I feel like you could have trimmed 15, 20 minutes out of this. And one of the ways you could have done that is take out 2 of these guys.
Right.
Because we get to this big, in this next scene, they go to this nightclub.
It's called the House of Pain.
House of Pain, because they know the Reapers will show up there, I guess. Or they're hoping, luckily for them, the Reapers do show up there. But anyway, there's a very long fight sequence. I'm going to say 20 minutes maybe.
Yeah.
But we see each member of the team in their own individual fights. They're not in the same place.
Yeah, it never bothered me. I feel a bit like the first film, which was also 2 hours. I just feel like it's just absolutely sets a cracking pace. I was just pretty much into it the whole time.
That's fair.
But yeah, you're right. They go to this. The Blade's big plan is to catch the Reapers. We'll just go where there's lots of vampires. All right, great.
And it works first night within an hour. Within 5 minutes.
There's a few too many coincidences in the first hour.
Yeah.
You know, like the same night he rescues Whistler, the vampire, like truce happens, and he goes to the thing, and then that very same night they go to the House of Pain and encounter the Reapers. A lot of coincidences, but oh well, it's okay. This nightclub is absolutely heaving with vampires. There must be 500 extras in this scene. There's way too many vampires.
Yeah.
A vampire's an apex predator. You can't have an apex predator, that many apex predators in one space. What are they all eating? Also, this House of Pain is completely over-the-top Hellraiser kind of environment.
Yeah.
They're like, some guys got a woman open and
they do
fiddling with her
Nissa
spine.
does warn Blade that you're going to see feeding in there. Like,
but it's not feeding. There's some crazy bullshit going
absolutely
on.
crazy. There's a guy with his back sliced right
That's
open.
what I mean. Yeah, his back sliced open, and another guy's like playing the xylophone on his spinal cord or something. And other guys, they're putting like razor blades in their mouth and making out, and I guess cutting each other's mouths with the razor blades.
Do they cut their tongues?
We don't
blades?
see, but I guess it's implied. No, they just put them on their lips and then start making out.
Okay.
It's just really stupid Hellraiser kind of shenanigans.
Yeah.
People feeding. There is just a generic kind of feeding, but it's way over the top.
Yeah.
And
also, even before we get into the club, we get a slow motion hero team shot.
There is plenty
of
of slow
team
motion.
walking in all their leather, walking into the club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like this because, first of all, this kind of hedonism was something that was Deacon Frost's thing.
Right.
He was the one that ran those nightclubs in Blade 1. Like the one with the Japanese schoolgirls and the one with the blood shower, the blood rain, the famous scene.
Yeah.
It was part of the way he was different from the vampire elders. They were all about being inconspicuous and whatever, and running everything from the shadows. And he was a revolutionary because he was embracing
But he had
decadence.
all those people were paying to go into his club, all those young vampires that wanted to party.
Oh yeah, he had a movement.
So the young partying vampires still exist. They still want to party.
Yeah, but do vampires really want to party by doing disgusting shit to one another? I felt like that was Deacon Frost's thing. Okay. But now vampires are just like that?
Yeah.
I don't like that, because that was something that was cool about the original film, and now it's just like, no, all vampires are always just cutting up one another, like Andy Robinson in Hellraiser 1.
Yeah. So they go to this club. Scud, Norman Reedus, is out in the van. Another thing I liked about this movie was I often thought people were going to die. Like, I really felt like Scud could die at any time. Norman Reedus is not a big star at this stage. I'm like, I thought he was going to die in this scene when the Reapers attack his van.
Yeah.
And I thought Nissa might die. Mm-hmm. I'm like, there's no reason to think these are permanent main characters. In fact, they're vampires. We think they're gonna get killed off.
Yeah.
I did like the tension of these
It's cool. It's a cool scene.
Yeah.
I feel like I like that it jumps from character to character. No one outstays their welcome. We get a lot of cool action sequences. Lighthammer's like throwing down with like a tiny little Reaper.
Yes.
He's huge. This Reaper's tiny, but it eventually overpowers him and feeds on him in that grotesque sequence. He conceals his bite.
Yes.
From what's her face?
So what was her name? Aveline? I've forgotten already.
Not Tracy Lords.
Yeah.
Like what a survivor in the zombie apocalypse would do when you get a bite and then you hide it. Verlaine, that's it.
Yeah.
But he's like a scumbag vampire.
Yeah.
And yet he's concealing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess we're supposed to. There's some stake. We're supposed to care.
I did. Well, I liked it in terms of tension because you knew he was going to turn at some stage like a zombie.
Unfortunately, he eats Donnie Yen before he even gets to say a line.
Yeah.
Such a bummer. And also Priest, the Irish character, or what have you, he straight up turns right there on the dance floor.
Yeah.
And Blade has to shoot a hole in the wall so that the sunlight comes in directly on him because they can't.
Do figure out that there's no way to kill these things except sunlight.
They can't kill them.
Except UV light.
Bullets don't work. The silver doesn't work. Garlic doesn't work. Staking doesn't work. The only thing that works is sunlight. They're more sensitive to sunlight than a regular vampire. They've all of these advantages they've had to trade up for a serious disadvantage to sunlight. Before all the fighting happens, there's a really great bit where Reinhardt. He's just eyeballing Blade. He hates him so much. Also, Blade put a bomb in the back of his head. He's like, oh, in Perlman, oh, it'd be so easy. He pulls out his gun and does a bead on... It's got a laser sighter so we can see exactly what he's pointing at. He's got it pointing over Blade's chest. And then the camera pans down. Yeah. It's so good.
Yeah.
The camera pans down and Blade is sort of holding his gun at his waist.
Yeah.
Pointing it back.
Yeah, he's already got a bead on Ron Perlman.
He's already got his gun out and pointing it at him.
Yeah.
It's a great little sequence, very funny.
Yeah. So, I mean, Blade does not trust this team.
No. He knows they're going to turn on him.
He knows they've been trained to kill him, and he's put a bomb on Ron Perlman specifically because he's like, to have some measure of control over them. Okay, so then, so the van is attacked by the Reapers. Now, we do meet the main one, Nomak. Blade fights Nomak here.
Yes. Nomak has dialogue. You know, he says things like, are you going to be my enemy? Because we both hate vampires. I think he said, is the enemy of the enemy my friend or my enemy? Right. And then they have a kung fu fight. It's fine. It's well choreographed. I wish Nomak had been less polished in his moves and more bestial, I suppose.
Right.
And Blade was countering him with kung fu, but whatever.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's not a big deal. And we later find out that Nomak has every reason to be highly trained in kung fu, so it's okay.
So meanwhile, Whistler, who was kind of on...
He went AWOL. We're supposed to think... The film never doesn't put much work into this, but we're supposed to wonder if Whistler has gone bad because he was a vampire for so long.
Yeah.
But the film doesn't put much effort in. I reckon there was some cut content that might have played it up a bit more, like him shying away from sunlight.
Okay.
And things like that.
But basically, he's found or trapped this Reaper... and they go to see it, and it's like he came up from this tunnel to the sewers or something. So they're gonna go down there. So this is it's just immediately into the next.
Oh well, it's not quite.
Oh, that's right. Oh, because we get the autopsy.
What happens is they free this Reaper who's got trapped trying to get back down into the sewers. They know the Reapers have gone down to the sewers, but this Reaper's incapacitated because it's run out of blood. Find out that they're like running on high gear all the time. That's why they need to feed all the time. But as soon as they run out of blood, they collapse.
Right.
They take him back and they perform an autopsy on him in a really cool scene.
Yeah.
This prop that they've got is amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
They pull apart the mandibles. Well, actually, there's no mandible. They pull apart his mouth. They point out that he has no jawbone, no mandible bone, and show us the horrible tongue. Yeah. It's also got nasty teeth that inject a neurotoxin, a paralyzing poison. Norman Reedus has to do all this. He's very uncomfortable with it. They've split open, and this is where we find out that the heart is armoured, which is why stakes don't work. And then they do this thing where I think Nyssa cuts her finger and drops a single drop of blood into the Reaper's chest cavity, and it just convulses.
Yeah. It's like an amped up version of the facehugger autopsy in Alien. It's very much like, it's really gross, and
it is like that.
They're like, please stop going in there and stuff. And
it's so cool. It's such a great scene.
Yeah.
Loved it. Then they're going to go back in the sewers.
Yes.
It's the same day, I think.
Yeah. This is all the same day that Whistler got back, I guess.
Yes. It's the same day because they're going out in the daytime.
Right, that's right. Yeah.
And they're going to find the Reapers because they've extracted some Reaper pheromones from that corpse. And Nyssa has prepared an aerosol that will attract the Reapers. So they go down into the... Oh, and Whistler and Scud make a UV grenade.
Yeah.
And a UV grenade bomb, which is just a lot of...
Which shines light around corners.
Yeah, I hated that. That's another thing I remember from when I first saw it.
Yeah.
You can't just put a lot of... If you put a lot of flashlights in a box, can those flashlights now go around corners? It's not like a shockwave.
Yeah. It's science fiction weapon.
I know light can be a wave.
Yeah.
As well as a particle.
Yes. It is a science fictional weapon is what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, so they go down the sewers, and the blood pack turns on Whistler when they've got him alone.
Yep. Start beating the shit out of him.
Yep.
This is beating the shit out of 57-year-old Kris Kristofferson. He looks even older than
He looks older than 57.
Or maybe he was 67.
Yeah.
But he said this was a rough shoot.
Right.
He says, I was in this one more, and in more of the action, I was getting beat up during those fight scenes with vampires and getting thrown around in the sewers with the pipes and all that stuff. He was in his mid-60s.
Okay.
I spent a lot of time in the hospital.
Wow.
Fortunately, I was in pretty good shape.
Yeah, wow.
He is actually in pretty good shape. He's got his shirt off for a lot of this movie.
Yep. So they go down there. Of course, there are Reapers down there.
Yeah.
And they have a big fight. Again, huge long fight sequence. This is when Lighthammer turns.
Yes, and eats Donnie Yen.
And Verlaine kills herself to get rid of him by opening the...
I guess it's meant to be a kind of Romeo and Juliet-esque moment. But again, we've seen these characters for so little time, I don't really care. It just seems like she does something a bit baffling.
No, I saw it as a self-sacrifice to save the team.
Good. Well, I thought it might be because she doesn't want to live without him because they were in love.
Oh,
but
right.
Both is fine.
Okay.
Both. It can be both. So Donnie Yen's out, Lighthammer's out, Verlaine is out.
And Reinhardt, our Ron Perlman character, has screwed up the bomb. The flashlight bomb. The trigger, the lever on it, so that it won't go off. Later... Blade is captured. As he's in the first movie, he's captured. And it seems like our big bad guy, Eli, wants him.
Yeah, he does.
So if he wants him, should Reinhardt have sabotaged him?
I don't think Reinhardt sabotaged it deliberately. I think it was an accident.
But he says...
But he does send him...
He says out loud that lever's... Oh, by the way, the lever's jammed.
He does. He sends him back to the bomb when the bomb wasn't functional. Deliberately.
Okay.
Reinhardt wants Blade. Reinhardt hates Blade. Right. He tried to kill him in the first scene they were in.
Right.
His hatred for Blade is stronger than his need to serve Eli's.
Okay.
Or maybe he figures once Blade's dead, they can just.
Or maybe Eli foolishly hasn't informed these people that he wants Blade alive.
No, wasn't the Blood Pack supposed to kill Blade? I mean, or were they supposed to capture him?
Actually, what did he want from Blade when he captured him?
He wants his blood for his next generation of super vampires, which we'll get to.
Yeah. That's right. He doesn't need Blade alive. He needs his blood.
Yeah.
Yeah, he absolutely does need him. So he shouldn't be training a team to kill him.
That's right. Does make sense.
Okay.
But we get no time on that.
Right.
At all.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so how many members of this blood pack do we lose? So we've lost...
Chupa dies. He gets killed by... Yeah, after beating up on Whistler, Whistler activates the pheromones. Reapers come, they eat Chupa, Whistler gets away.
Okay, so only Nyssa and Reinhardt are left.
Yeah, because Assad dies as well. I guess we're supposed to care for this blood-drinking monster played by the cat. he gets dragged underwater and killed by
Right,
Reedus.
that's right.
Then Blade kills them with a UV grenade.
Yeah.
Eventually Blade sets off the big bomb, despite it being busted, he manages to get it working again. Kills all the Reapers in the sewers, presumably. It's a pretty big maybe.
Yeah.
The sewers are huge.
Yeah.
These are like subway tunnels.
Yep.
This is the biggest sewers I've ever seen.
Yeah. And it's not natural light. It's just a UV bomb that the light goes around corners.
Somehow, despite this brick surfaces not being reflective. Okay, we know Donnie Yen's a Reaper somewhere. I hope the UV bomb got him, because otherwise this shit just all starts again.
Yeah.
Also, Nomak gets away. He's not killed.
Right.
Because he's got Nyssa. I think he's got her... No, that was the earlier scene. He meets with Nyssa, and he gives her a ring, right? Or something. Or does he give Blade the ring?
No, he gives her the ring.
Anyway, he's got the same ring as Nyssa does. And he goes, you might want to ask Father why I have this... Not Father. You might want to ask Eli Damaskinos why I've got this ring.
Yeah.
And he gets away. At this point, the Blood Pack turn on Blade and capture him. Okay. They could have captured him at any time. The reason they didn't and brought him in is because they needed him to handle Nomak. Nomak has not been handled. He got away.
Right.
We're still exactly where we were 72 hours ago.
Yeah.
Why do they turn on him now? They still need him.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a plot hole.
Yeah. So they've captured Blade.
They go back to Caliban Industries.
He wakes up in Caliban Industries. And here Eli reveals his plot, that he actually created this creature.
Yeah.
Use it by, genetic manipulation.
Yes.
He's trying to create a super vampire.
He made the virus. It seems, this is absolutely not clear, but what seems to be happening is he made the virus and infected his own son, Nomak. That's why he has the ring, the signet ring. So that he could then extract those characteristics that he wanted for his next generation of vampire progeny, who he has in little jars.
Yeah, he's got all these embryos in jars.
Yes. He took immunity to garlic and silver from Nomak, put it in his babies, in his fetuses, and now he needs Blade's immunity to sunlight.
Yeah, that was the final factor.
And he's, because apparently, I guess recombinant genetic engineering, it's just like Lego. You just take a bit out of Blade and put it in your baby. And...
Sure, whatever.
It's fine.
I'll accept that.
It's fine. Of course, it's totally fine. And it was the same way with the virus. But I was confused at this point because I thought Reaper was a virus, and what are these babies? Why are they embryos? I thought you were making viruses, not embryos.
Wait, so is Nomak out of control? Is this why? Okay.
He's a
failed,
flawed prototype. Except he wasn't a prototype. He was just the test bed for these abilities.
Okay.
Once Damaskinos extracted them, he was ready to discard Nomak.
Okay.
And I guess...
So if he was his son, I guess this was a son that,
I think there's no real reason why he used his son and not some random vampire.
But this is a son that Nyssa didn't grow up with. She didn't know she had a brother.
No, she did.
Oh, she did.
She did know.
She's like, "What happened to my brother? He disappeared."
Yeah. Again, she
didn't recognize him as well. She doesn't recognize him.
Or did she? I think I think everybody in the Blood Pack knew that the Blood Pack's keeping a lot of secrets.
Okay.
They know that Scarta's a traitor.
But no, when she talks to Eli, she doesn't seem to sound like she knows anything about her brother.
Yeah,
she gets the ring and it's like, what is this thing?
Oh, yeah, you're right. I thought
she's very confused by it, and she talks to her.
It's a bit of a mess. You're right. Because he's like he knows her because later when he eats her, he says you were always his favorite. So they did grow up together.
His favorite. Yeah, right. Well, maybe he just knew from afar that he...
Also, we don't know how old they are. He could be 500 and she could be 30.
Yeah, right. Also, we know that this weird-ass old vampire Screws, much like Emperor Palpatine, is out there having babies with somebody.
Yeah, the vampires are having babies because we've got pure blood. We got the pure blooded vampires.
She was born a vampire.
Vampires. So vampires can get pregnant and have babies. Yeah, weird. Yeah, but he's old and gross, and he's getting laid.
Yep.
Lucky him.
Well, here's where Reedus reveals that he's actually a traitor.
As I said, in the stupidest reveal ever.
And the bomb that was on Ron Perlman's head doesn't actually do anything. It was like a...
It was a dud.
Dud.
Except it's not. Because at some point, Blade swapped it for a real one.
Oh, yeah. So Blade can build his own gear?
When did he do that? Here's the thing. Was it live all along, or did Blade do a sleight of hand and throw Reedus...
It was live all... The one that he put on Reinhardt was a working one. Reedus thought it was a busted one, but it was a working one. Because Blade says he knew all along that Reedus was bad.
But is it possible that Blade did a sleight of hand and tossed Reedus a live one instead and concealed the dud? It doesn't actually matter. What matters is that he also knew that Reedus was a traitor all along. Mm-hmm. Why keep a traitor around?
Yeah.
Why?
Because he was building good gear that was killing hundreds of vampires for 4 years? Along?
But in that case, why was Reedus doing that? Why would Reedus agree to kill... I guess Eli Damaskinis was okay with hundreds of vampires being killed all the time? He's like a scumbag aristocrat. Yeah. I guess he was fine with it. Yeah. I hated this reveal. It just made not a lick of sense to me. There's absolutely no foreshadowing. Yeah. I think. Very, very little foreshadowing. We know there's a traitor, and there's 1 or 2 lines.
Oh, right.
But it's not like... We're not talking Dr. Yui here. It's blink and you miss it.
Yeah. Okay, so Whistler is being held by Reinhardt. Nyssa learns all about her brother and stuff and is really shocked and upset at this point. And as that Blade is being tortured, he's like, Blade is a nice guy. He saved my life.
Yeah, but he's a vampire killer.
Yep.
I thought you liked being a vampire.
Anyway.
Vampire pride.
Doesn't
make sense.
Whistler manages to escape. He rescues Blade. There's a great scene where he throws him with sunglasses from like 20 feet away or something.
It's pretty cool.
Great.
Whistler beats up Ron Perlman, who's a vampire.
Yeah.
Annoying. Anyway, go on. Whistler takes a lot of punches from vampires for an old dude. Yeah. Maybe he's still got a bit of vampire.
Especially since we know that apparently his vampires can like do spinning air kicks and stuff in this movie.
Maybe Whistler's still got a bit of vampire essence.
Maybe.
That's why he can tank punches.
Nomak shows up at the base, so we've got all these factions now running around. There's a great scene here where Blade, because he's been basically crucified, once he's released by Whistler, he jumps down into this big blood tank and comes out of it
fully rejuvenated because he's drunk. He's drunk like a huge amount of blood. It's like a Bacta tank.
Yeah, it's great.
It is cool. Then he and Reinhardt fight. It's no contest. Yeah. Blade just kills him, asks him, "Do you blush?"
Yeah. Yeah. And then
bisects him essentially.
Yeah. Yeah. And then
Blade and Nomak fight for no reason.
Nomak kills Eli first.
Yes. Nyssa betrays him.
And he feeds on Nyssa.
Yeah. Nyssa betrays Eli, cuts off his escape. He's about to escape by helicopter. She closes like some blast doors or something. He's trapped. Nomak appears. I don't know how Nomak found... Didn't Nomak... Nomak... They said, Nomak doesn't know where this is. And Blade says, he does now. How, though?
Huh.
Also, it's got Caliban Industries written on it really prominently, which we know is Eli Damaskinos' company. How did Nomak fail to find this? How long has Nomak been on the loose? He's only been on the loose for 72 hours because he's only made 12 Reapers, right?
Okay. Oh, right. He's only been running around for 72 hours.
This has all happened on a very truncated timetable.
Wow, okay.
So he shows up, he's here. Damaskinos tries to talk him down, doesn't work. He kills him. Yeah. He bleeds blue. Might have been a censorship issue. And then he in a film with gigantic tanks of blood.
I think it was.
He's just an old vampire. I think it's just a color choice. So he's changed. The Reapers have green blood.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
He dies and turns to stone instead of combusting like vampires normally do. Why? I guess just because he's really old.
He's some different species.
He's changed over time.
Yeah.
The virus affects you more and more the older you get, I guess. Then Nomak, who's been a vaguely sympathetic character, I guess, in the second half of the film, since we discovered that he was an unwitting experiment or what have you, kills his sister by infecting her with the Reaper virus, and then he and Blade have a fight.
Well, she's not dead yet.
No. At this, he's signed her death warrant because she's going to become a Reaper now. Something he didn't do to Eli, instead he just murdered him. Yeah. He even says, I've spared you my fate, you can just die. Yeah. Odd choice. Why not turn him into a Reaper? I guess that would be
Well, we gotta have a conclusion for this character.
Good point.
Basically.
Then they fight. I don't understand why they're fighting. They don't really have any reason to.
Well, he's a Reaper.
Yep.
He needs to drink blood. He's gonna go out and make more Reapers.
Yep.
Blade hates vampires. Reaper's type of vampire. He's gonna kill him. That's why they fight.
That's a good point. Why is Nomak fighting Blade then? Why doesn't he just leave?
Well, Blade will come after him.
Good point. Okay, they want to have a showdown. It's just funny that this is our showdown between one of our antagonists and our protagonist. So they have to have a showdown.
Yeah.
It's just funny because on paper, they don't really seem to have a really compelling reason to have a showdown right now.
Right, okay.
Because Nomak's arc has ended. He's got his vengeance.
Yeah.
I mean, we're supposed to find him sympathetic because he wants vengeance for the way he was treated, because he was transformed into a monster. He was already a monster, he was a vampire. But now he's a worse monster?
Yep.
And he hates vampires, or does he just hate his dad? Because remember right back in the first scene where he says, I hate vampires? He was a vampire.
The day before?
Yes. The day before. So, that line would make sense. If vampires are interchangeable, all interchangeable monsters, I hate vampire dad, that means I hate everybody. But with 50 named vampire characters, we now know that vampires are not all interchangeable monsters. So that line doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Blade defeats him using his special knowledge of his bone heart, because you can...
Yes, that's right.
You can stab the bone heart if you go in from the side at a specific angle.
Yeah.
Blade does it. Nomak dies at peace. He gets a line, it doesn't hurt anymore.
Yes.
Because we're supposed to find this horrible leech-mouthed horror sympathetic. Incidentally, the leech thing comes back in Del Toro's work. Are you familiar with The Strain?
No, I know of it, yeah.
Del Toro, it's sort of like a vampire world.
Yeah.
Like, that he's been working in. I think he wrote a novel, made a TV series, there's a comic.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they I think vampirism in that is caused by leeches, kind of like in Clive Barker.
Right.
And they have leeches that come out of their mouths and suck blood.
Right.
So this is an aesthetic which he will return to.
Right. So Blade takes Nyssa out to see the dawn. One last... Actually, the only time in her entire life.
Yep. Presumably, yeah. Unless you put the sunscreen on.
Or unless you watched it on TV. And out there she turns into this gold dust in a very Del Toro moment of like the monster being beautiful, which turns up again and again in his work. Yeah, except there's no real reason for her to die this way because no other vampire has done so. They usually just explode in the sun. But she's a Reaper.
Right, and they go blue and they burn with blue fire in the sun, don't they?
It doesn't matter, it looks real.
It's the power of love.
Yes.
If there were magic...
Yeah.
Bah, there's no magic though, so there's no reason for this to happen. Boo!
Maybe there is still magic and
there's a bit of magic.
They forgot to tell us
the magic of love.
Yeah. And then Blade goes and finds that guy Rush in a peep show.
Yes, in a peep show.
In Prague?
It's in London.
Signs are all in London. That's right. Yes, that's right. And kills him.
Stabs him in the head, and that's the end of the movie. You didn't think I forgot about you, did you?
Yeah. And the credit for the comic is the same as it was last time. Blade character created from Marvel Comics by Marv Wolfman and Gene Colan. Yeah. No real mention of based on the comic book or something like that. It's that same weird credit. I do want to mention the guy that did the music. For some reason, the name was like, who is this guy? Marco Beltrami. Just seemed really familiar. Marco Beltrami did Mimic.
Right.
Did the Scream movies. But also did Crow Salvation, which we haven't gone to yet. Hellboy. And TMNT 2007, and his name just kept coming up, and I think there's some more on here. Jonah Hex coming up.
Ah, right.
Yeah. Anyway, it was because I just watched Scream a few days ago. Rewatched it. Snowpiercer, and the Wolverine. This guy's all over the place.
Wow, it's too bad we don't track composers.
No. Yeah. Okay, I guess it's trivia time. But there is one bit of trivia about the credits. At the end of the credits, it says no real Reapers were harmed in the making of this.
Did it really? I didn't...
Yeah. Oh, and a visual consultant, Mike Mignola.
Yes, I did see that. And I've got the art that he did for it.
Oh, okay.
I'll put it in the Reddit.
All right. Was it art for the Reapers or buildings? Oh,
Reapers.
Interesting. Okay.
The storyboard kind of style art.
Okay.
Yeah, concept art. Yeah, it looks really cool.
This is pre-Hellboy.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Well, pre-Hellboy movie, the comics.
Yeah, pre-Hellboy movie. Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah. Okay, so trivia.
Okay, so the film cost $54 million to make.
Okay.
Box office was $155 million.
Do you remember what the budget was on the first one?
Less, I think 30-something million.
Yeah. Okay.
And it made so this at 155 million box office. This is the most successful Blade movie. The other two made around 130 million each. Stephen Norrington may have been offered the film, but presumably didn't want to come back, or wasn't available, or whatever reason. I couldn't find a good source for that. But and the working title for the movie was Blade 2: Blood Hunt.
Huh. Okay.
Del Toro came on pretty early. Apparently, everybody likes Del Toro. Goyer is apparently friends with him, just like Ron Perlman is. Mm-hmm. Big fan of his work. They brought him on hoping he would bring an art house sensibility to the movie, take similar risks to what they felt Norrington took with the first one. Mm-hmm. They said Norrington brought insane, crazed energy, which elevated the first film, which I would agree with, especially some really idiosyncratic touches like those time-lapse sequences, which made the streets... give it an urban, the urban as an environment with an ecosystem, and a time lapse made it into this movie too. So, which I can only assume is a kind of like a nice kind of like respectful touch, because it's only one scene, only one sequence, I should say. Yeah. I like to imagine it's an homage from Del Toro.
There's no daytime stuff in this movie.
Almost none. It is happening in daytime a lot.
It happens in time, but there's no.
They're not outside.
Never walk around on the.
They don't go out on the streets.
That blaxploitation vibe is not in this.
No.
We never see the Charger in this, I don't think, do we?
Briefly at the start.
Yeah. But it was like fetishized in that first movie.
He doesn't say, "Motherfucker, you out of your goddamn minds?"
Yeah. Yeah.
You're right. And he's not walking around the streets of New York
with the sword on his back, beating up a white cop on the hood of his car. Yeah. All that kind of stuff.
It's much more Del Toro.
Yeah.
Gloomy vibes. Yeah. Always indoors. Lots of brick. Lots of fantasy kind of styled, fantasy-coded creatures and equipment and so on. So they brought Del Toro on hoping he would be similar but different and bring a kind of like a vibe that would elevate the tone. Right. Del Toro was reluctant at first, despite being a fan of Goyer's and a friend of Goyer's, enjoying like Dark City and some of the stuff that Goyer had worked on, and Blade, of which he was also a fan. He said he enjoyed the hell out of it. At that time, he said he wasn't interested in doing sequels because he wanted to do his own work. So what it seems he did was he read the script and then sent Goyer his notes, and Goyer made changes, sent it back. Del Toro read it again, made another set of notes, sent it back. Goyer made changes, sent it back to him, then he agreed to come on and film it. Shot, as mentioned, in the Czech Republic from March 12th to July 2nd, 2001, mostly in Prague. Del Toro worked on it 7 days a week, 6 days shooting, 1 day editing for like a year. With no second unit. Apparently, Del Toro doesn't like using second units.
Interesting.
And also because he'd been burned by... there was a second unit on Mimic, which he's not happy with that movie. Okay. He said, using second unit is a lack of control, but it is viewed in Hollywood as being more cost efficient. From what I've experienced, it's far less cost efficient because you end up reshooting a lot of it 2 or 3 times to get it right. Yeah. Right. The rest of my content has to do with our votes. So what do you say? But actually, a brief note. In that earlier interview with David Goyer that I mentioned from the year 2000, they asked him, back in 1998, even before Blade was released, you mentioned that you were planning on using Morbius in the sequel. Still doing that? He replied, no. Morbius is not in Blade 2. Marvel wanted to use the character for a separate franchise.
Wow.
And they eventually did.
Yeah. Wow.
It was one of the movies of all time. Yeah. As they say. He then goes on to say, there is, however, a character that could have been Morbius if you look closely enough. Huh. I don't know who that might be.
The lawyer?
The the lawyer.
The Morbius...
Someone that only feeds on criminals?
Nomak? Well, it
might be Nomak?
Morbius is like he's a living vampire.
Yeah, that's right. Is Blade meant to be Morbius? No, that doesn't make sense.
No.
If anyone can figure that out, let me know. Let us know. Write in. The final question they asked him was quick list of favourite comic books. I just thought you might be interested in this. The comics that David Goyer was reading at the time in the year 2000. He was reading The Authority by Warren Ellis.
Okay.
Birds of Prey.
Huh, okay.
Optic Nerve.
Huh.
Shortcoming.
Yeah.
And anything Grant Morrison writes.
Interesting. And then he wrote the Batman movies.
Yes, he did. It's actually Goyer is a comic book fan, and he considers that one of the reasons why I think he believes that's why Blade works and is successful. In that interview in Cinefantastic, he says he really believes that good comic book movies are only made by people that understand comic book material. You think that's why Blade, X-Men, and Spider-Man worked. This is 2002 that he's saying this. He actually mentioned that he wrote a Doctor Strange script in the 90s for Columbia Pictures. When he said, quote, people were scrambling to get comic properties because of Batman and I suppose The Crow and...
Yeah.
He said, one of the big ones left was Doctor Strange. So they made a deal to do Doctor Strange, this is Columbia Pictures, but they didn't particularly love the character. The executives and the head of Columbia had never read a Doctor Strange comic book. All they knew was that he was one of the big Marvel Comics characters. It's like a ridiculous way to go into adapting. So I did this script. I owned all the Doctor Strange comics and Strange Tales comics. I'd owned them from when I was a kid. I did a draft and it was well received. But I remember I had gotten this comment from this one executive of Columbia who said...
I think I've read this interview. I
really love this script. I just wish there wasn't any magic in it.
I have heard this. I have heard this story.
It's true, but it also sounds naive, like Blanc, because now, of course, Marvel cranks out movies according to a formula. You don't have to love comic books to make a Marvel comic movie. They have the Marvel movie method now.
Yeah.
But I think there's some truth in that. And as well, he also mentions that Guillermo also obviously loves comic books. Friend of Mike Mignola. He's written comic books. He's as well versed in comic books and horror movies and science fiction movies as I am, even more so in terms of the movie area. What's fun is that he and I speak each other's language. We could say, remember that cool scene in Hellblazer? And then they could put it on screen. Goyer mentions it was actually the same with Norrington too. He said that in the big temple that they bleed Blade in, the chamber that they place him in, they were telling the production designer, it should be like one of those big crazy Jack Kirby devices. And the production designer didn't know what they were talking about, but they did.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
Let's do votes.
So we don't have to talk about comics. Well, I guess we can both say nay to...
say nay to the remake.
Whatever
it's called.
Revival of...
Yes.
It's only 4 issues, but the magic was gone for a bunch of reasons. Okay, how about this movie? I'm going to say I enjoyed it. I think it's a cool movie. It's got a bunch of plot holes, which we picked apart, which we tend to do.
Yes.
It's good, but it's... The freshness of the first one is missing.
Agreed. I still like the first one more. This is not...
It's like Hellboy 2, this one.
I agree up to a point, which I'll talk about when we cover adaptation. But I think it's fine. Gee, it's got some stuff I like.
Yeah.
The Reaper's a great creature design.
Yeah.
I like the Blood Pack.
Yeah.
I like that they all have that they all got a style.
Yeah.
You know, how do you even get this group? There's a guy wearing a chainmail shirt.
Yeah.
There's a guy stripped to the waist with a big hammer.
Yeah.
and what's looked like Maori tattoos.
Yes.
There's Donnie Yen with a samurai sword.
Yeah.
There's, like a tiny girl with orange hair that doesn't do anything. And Ron Perlman plays a giant neo-Nazi who never takes off his sunglasses.
Yep.
It's freaking rad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure, there's plot holes that really get me up the wall. I don't particularly like the Scud character. I honestly think they could have left Whistler out.
Yep.
I don't think it adds anything.
There's no reason to bring Whistler back. They should have brought the Doctor back.
Yes. Yeah. She should have been in it.
Yeah.
And she should have been the love interest instead of Nisa.
Yeah. Did they really think that the audience was really hooked on the Whistler character and they needed
I don't understand. I think what based on the article I read, I think maybe they were hoping for interpersonal relationships to kind of buoy the film up a bit. But as you pointed out, it's 2 hours and it's mostly action.
Yeah.
Like an hour and 50 minutes is action.
Yeah.
They don't leave enough time. I never felt invested in Blade and Nisa's relationship. I never really cared about Whistler and Blade's relationship, whatever they were going for. As soon as Whistler wakes up, he's like yelling at Scud.
Yeah.
Get out of my shit, kid.
Yeah.
It's like you don't even know, you just woke up from a 2-4 year long vampire coma.
Yeah.
And you're like, get off my lawn. It's too quick.
Yeah.
It doesn't take its time with that sort of stuff. I really think they could have left most of that out. But it's still yay. I still enjoyed it.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm pleased to vote yay also, Kumar, because this is the 44th film we've done this year, I think. And I've only voted yay for 7 of them.
It's been a rough year.
So I'm pleased to vote yay this week, at least for that reason.
But I had a hunch it would be this way when we started the show.
Where there'd be a lot of nays.
There would be a lot of... that the adaptation isn't working. And resulting in these kind of things that are cash grabs that are just not great.
Well, this year's been a rough year.
Yeah.
7 out of 44. You've been a little more generous than I have.
Yeah. I don't know how to vote on adaptation. I guess we'll go back to that British trumpet player. This is really an adaptation or continuation of the first movie. And as I said at the beginning, this is the first time we've really had this. It's going to happen again with especially The Crow. Like there's another Extraction movie where they didn't make any more comics.
Right.
They're just making movies that are sequels to the previous movie. And they're not going back, unlike, say, the Batman movies of the 90s where they would go back to the comics to pick up the Riddler or Two-Face or something. We don't have that kind of situation. This movie's completely blank slate. A bit like Hellboy 2 was.
That's a good point. And the comparison with Hellboy 2 is opposite, because you've said adaptation as continuation. All right, let me read you a quote from Del Toro from this same interview. He felt that when in making this film, he really tried to stick to Goyer's screenplay.
Okay.
And didn't try to make, quote, Guillermo del Toro's Blade, but to make Blade 2 as a fun ride that people who saw the first one would enjoy.
Okay.
I don't think this film, because it was still filming, is going to be greeted as a personal statement about eternity and life or death as Kronos was. This is essentially a great popcorn movie. I'm not trying to make Blade into a Byronic hero. I'm trying to have Blade be Blade and have his universe be his universe. Just tweak it a little to be more oriented towards the gothic stuff I like. I think if we take adaptation's continuation, that it's successful in that sense. He's made a Blade movie with Del Toro elements, but one where it's still staying true to the version of the character that was created in the first film, which I felt was such a great kind of adaptation.
I still think this is a great adaptation of a nothing comics character.
Yeah.
That was just really... There were very few ideas about that character and very few comics with him in it.
But to finish my point...
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, it's quite all right. The reason why I think this bears comparing with Hellboy 1 and 2, even though they were both directed by Del Toro, is that Del Toro didn't make the same effort with Hellboy 2 to stay true to the kind of like
the world of Hellboy 1.
The world of Hellboy 1. It said Hellboy 2 is Guillermo del Toro's Hellboy.
Yes.
It doesn't feel like a Hellboy movie.
Yeah.
Instead it has all that wacky Del Toro shit, like they go to the night market underneath the city and it's just full of goblins and gremlins and Pan's Labyrinth type kind of carry-on. He didn't, perhaps, maybe he was early in his career, he was less confident, or maybe he liked Goyer too much to, although he and Mignola are friends as well, here he didn't give in to that impulse and he stayed truer to the successful adaptation that the comic, that the film represented, the character represented at that point. Because of that, I'm going to vote yay.
Yeah, I'm going to vote yay too. I think if the first movie didn't exist, you would walk into this movie and go, holy shit. I mean, the lines don't hit quite as much, and I'm missing those blaxploitation daytime scenes, but it's still cool, and it's still a cool version of this character that we had very little data on.
Yeah.
Originally, so...
He hasn't given in and turned him into something weird.
No, no.
I think in that sense, like a disciplined insistence on continuation as adaptation.
Yeah.
Also, I think Goyer's onto something when he says that fans make good films. Maybe.
Right.
because, I mean, it's not always true. Sometimes they make crap films.
Dick Tracy.
Yeah, God. But another quote. This was Goyer. He said, I think fans can kind of smell or sense if something like Blade feels authentic in its intent or its source material. But I also think they can smell a phony. Remember that horrible Steel movie? Or Supergirl?
Right.
They can tell.
Huh.
Goyer, I voted nay for adaptation for both Steel and Supergirl. My podcasting partner, on the other hand, voted yay for Supergirl. So, so if you're listening, I apologise on his behalf. Before we wind up for the week,
Okay.
I wonder, after that ringing endorsement of fans and auteurs working in the field of comic books movies, I wonder if you'd like a terrifying glimpse of the future.
Okay.
Because in Cinefantastic magazine, they also featured a lengthy 2-page interview with the then head of Marvel Productions, Avi Arad, who has appeared on the podcast before.
Yeah.
And he was absolutely rubbing his hands with glee in this interview about how great Marvel was going at this point in time, and about the enormous slate of Marvel adaptations that were on the horizon. He was very bolshy about it, naming all of these pictures that were coming out, none of which ended up coming out, I think probably because Daredevil bombed.
Right. Right.
He didn't know about Daredevil in the future. But he did mention... he didn't mention Iron Man, actually. He mentioned Iron Fist starring Ray Park. That never happened.
I remember hearing about that at the time, yeah.
But although there'll be a hiccup on the road, I wonder if sharing this particular ominous vision of a corporate future will send a shiver down your spine. The interviewer said, all told, it's a pretty ambitious slate of product that will, depending on box office success, pave the way for even more superhero adventures on the movie screen. If Avi Arad has his way, Marvel will become synonymous with big screen entertainment. This is 2002. Quote from Avi Arad, over the next 20 years, there will be nowhere to hide. He laughed. I won't be around, but before I pass the baton, there's going to be a tremendous amount of product and sequels and television shows and animation. This really is the Marvel age.
Wow. Shocker. That is prophetic.
Yeah.
Chilling. It was exactly what you said it would be. Okay, please like, rate, review, subscribe. Please contact us through the email address in the show notes, or you can send us a DM on Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, Threads, or Reddit, or leave a comment on YouTube. And you can please join our Patreon at patreon.com/comicbookmovieoblivion. All one word. By the way, something I forgot to mention the last 2 weeks is if you go over to Deconstructed Comics, you can hear me talking about the Superman movie from this year. I think it was last week's episode or the week before that. I keep forgetting to bring it up.
So, yeah, that's good. That means we don't have to cover it.
No, it's
we're disqualifying it because it's going to be a universe.
It's going to be a universe. It's already part of that Peacemaker universe or whatever.
Yeah, all right.
Which I didn't realize walking into it that I already missed 10 episodes of this thing that I was supposed to... Anyway, that's all kind of mentioned in there. Next week, since I've still got Frankenstein on the mind, we're going to do I, Frankenstein.
Cool.
Now, almost didn't do this movie, and I'm very glad you've talked me into it. Because often I waffle about these things, and you're like, no, we got to do it. Okay, there is a comic out there called I, Frankenstein, and it has a date on it. Sometimes the date says 2009, sometimes it says 2010. I don't know that this is a published comic book. When you see it, if you can find it, Google around, look for I, Frankenstein. It looks like a sample that was put together for a studio executive.
We're going to do our best to
untangle.
To untangle this mystery.
Yeah. And so that's all I can say. Now, you might not be able to find this thing. It's on, if you dig, you might find it. You might not be able to find it. It's only like 20 pages. But otherwise, there's not really any comics about this thing that's supposedly based on comics, which I don't think it is. But we'll talk about
all of that.
Talk about all that next week.